Da dee da 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 dee da 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 da. Peaceful morning shot. Morning, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. This is Mike with another 5-minute art tip. I'm out here on the West Orange Trail here in Orlando. Of course, practicing what I preach. Make sense? Getting out, getting some exercise this morning before I get into the studio. Not too early this morning, but today's 5-minute art tip has to do with something that I think that a lot of artists, and especially those up and coming, really kind of have to question themselves on what direction and path, and it has to do with school. I can recall doing something when I was, contemplating school, and that was not knowing. I really didn't know the path to go to art college, to go to college in general, and I didn't have the money at the time, and I think that's kind of the same what's happening, in our society in general, is not being able to kind of understand the path to get to school, and then asking yourself whether or not you need to go to school for art, and then coming up with the money to be able to do so. I had the great opportunity to go in my opinion, one of the premier schools in the United States and in the world, called Ringling College of Art and Design. I graduated in 2000, and with that graduation certificate, not a certificate, it was a bachelor's in illustration, it came with a huge mountain of debt. And, I look back on that and I think to myself, yeah, I had a really great time at Ringling. I learned a lot of things. Sorry about that. And, I got to be exposed and to different genres of art, and it kind of carved my path. And however, whenever I got out, I didn't immediately get an art job. I got a job at a movie theater, and 6 months later, of course, I got a job at Foot Locker Incorporated, being a graphic illustrator. But they didn't give me the job because of where I went to school. They gave me the job because of my portfolio, because of the hard work that I'd done in school. You're going to get out of school what you put into it, obviously, but in today's day and age, I can look back on my experience at school and really value it. But on the other hand, the incredible amount of debt that was associated with it is not something that I really would recommend for anyone. Of course, you can go to a cheaper college. Of course, you can go and spend your dollars elsewhere. However, there are so many incredible opportunities via the internet these days to learn the tips and tricks. Even this channel, learning the tips and tricks of a professional illustrator that's been in the industry for years and years, that you get a better insight into what is involved and what is required to be a visual storyteller and artist in the world. You can make money at doing art. You can make $0 doing good art. You can make millions of dollars doing bad art. It all is subjective. That's the thing with art. And what's incredible to me is the incredible opportunities that are out there for the visual storyteller and artist. I mean, from the mobile devices to the games to children's books to digital media to websites. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So the opportunities are always going to be there. And as we go further and further into this digital age, the opportunities are going to be there. But for you to go to school, you really need to ask yourself if the debt is worth it. Now, if your parents are paying, by all means, go. If you have the financial means to go, by all means, go. Because school is an enrichment. One of the best things that you can do, obviously, if you have the money to do so, is to sow back into yourself. And school gives you a structure. Structure is what a lot of people need, most people need, because if we are left to our own devices, we will basically do nothing. And that's kind of your skin, your flesh. That's what your flesh tells you to do. You get tired, what do? You sleep. You crave something, you get it. Your body tells you it feels good. And in today's society, if it feels good, go ahead and do it. And that's not always the best thing for you, right? So should you go to school? That's a general question that I would mostly say yes, if you have the means to go. If you don't have the money to go, if you don't have the means, if you have the talent, and if you're accepted into the college, if you can't afford it, then don't go. I'm very sorry. Don't take out the student loans. Don't take out the loans. Don't get indebted to somebody or some organization that you're going to be paying for the next 25 to 30 years. There are other ways. You know, every company that I've worked for, every single industry that I've applied to, every single one of them has never said, "So, Mr. Mike, I see you went to Ringling. Oh my gosh, you're incredible. Since you went to Ringling, I'm going to give you $80,000 a year and a full benefits package." Let me tell you something, that never, ever, ever happens. And that's the reality. The school is just a structure and a means to an end. You need to do the work to create the portfolio to get the job. You need to do the work to get the portfolio to help climb the ladder of your visual illustrative life. I can't express this to you guys enough. School is a wonderful thing, okay? I went to school. You know, I got a bachelor's in illustration. I went to regular college too. So I have an associate's degree in humanities, and that was a wonderful time as well. It is enrichment. Now, am I still paying for college? Absolutely, and it stinks. You know, and back then we didn't have the internet like it is today. I mean, it was weak. It was weak sauce. So for those of you who are contemplating on going to college, if you have the means, go. If you do not, but you have the talent, seek out other ways and other paths to be able to foster your dream. Don't give up on your dream. Do not rely upon school to dictate to you whether or not you're going to get a great art job. There are so many people out there that did not go to college that or art college that are incredible visual artists and storytellers. If you work hard, if you have that zeal and that fire, then you're going to get somewhere. Good morning. And that's what's important. You know, even this format that I'm utilizing right now, you know, I'm bequeathing these things that you would otherwise not know. You know, when I asked certain teachers in college, they would always be tongue-in-cheek because, you know, they want to perpetuate their job. That's their job, to kind of keep you in college. Most of the teachers, I'm not saying most of the teachers, I would say some of the teachers that are there, that were in the professional world, now bequeath their knowledge, and they're doing it out of not only the goodness of their heart, but they want to pass on and have a legacy. And, you know, as a teacher myself, I want to be able to pass on some of the knowledge that I've accumulated over my years. So, going to college, it needs to be a personal choice. It needs to be a very big choice for those who want to be in the visual and illustrative and graphic design world. Where you go to school is important. And if you don't have the money, because guys, you have to understand, we live in a world of money. It costs things. It's not only the cost of money, but it's the cost of your effort, your time. It's going to change who you are. It's going to, you know, even if you don't go to college, that's going to be, of course, another path. But you know, you really need to evaluate whether or not you need to make that jump. If the funds are there, go. If not, please don't get into debt. That is the biggest trap. You know, it's just one of those deals where you think to yourself, "Oh yes, I'm gonna get a fantastic art job in the next 10 years, and I'll be able to make $150,000 a year, and you know, a $550 to $800 to $1,000 student loan payment is no big deal." It's a huge deal, huge, massive. It is a massive deal. Okay, I can't explain to you how big of a deal it is. Because it's like a chain, the chain that grips you, and with student loans, you can't get out of them. Okay, private loans are one thing, but student loans, even if you were to, you know, bankruptcy, all that stuff, they don't go away. So really ask yourself if it's worth it. Obviously, college and putting and sewing into yourself is the best thing that you can do. At the end of the day, if you need that structure, then do it. But if you don't need the structure and you can self-discipline, there are so many education opportunities online. I know SVS Learn, run by Will Terry and Jake Parker, is a fantastic avenue. Steven Silver has a wonderful school of character design, very specialized. And you know, those guys are not sponsors. I'm not affiliated with those guys at all. However, they're fantastic. Aaron Blaze has an incredible, if you want to be a character designer or illustrator or animator, he has incredible courses at $30 to $40 a pop that gives you insight into the mind of a visual, from my opinion, a visual genius and an incredible draftsman and storyteller. You know, he was the director of Brother Bear, worked on Lion King, some of the great Disney features of our age that we grew up with. So anyway, my 5-minute art tip ran to 9 minutes or 10 minutes, so I apologize for that, but it is a passion. It is a passion of mine that you not make the mistakes that not only I made, and I'm not saying that my education was a mistake, but if I knew
then what I know now, that's what I was really trying to say. I made many mistakes at this point.
Okay,
so.
And I looked at my portfolio recently of what I did back when I submitted to college. Of course, the internet wasn't what it was, but if I would have waited 4 or 5 years, of course, there's the what if. You know, I just don't know. You know, of course, now I have to live with the choices that I make, and that's what we all have to do. So anyway, thanks you guys again, and I'll be trying to get a drawing out to you guys as soon as possible. But this 5-minute art tip not only is something that, you know, I needed to get across to you guys, but it's also something that's important that a lot of teachers and a lot of people in general don't tell you as up-and-coming artists. You know, in art, everything is so subjective. You might hit the mark one day, and the next day you're completely flat. And if you don't have that 9-to-5 job and you're not sewing into your future, then you're not going to be able to pay those up-and-coming bills. You know, they're going to end up coming from student loans if you decided to go to college. So thank you guys once again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.